Good morning. This is Reverend Pam Gagan from the Center for Spiritual Living in Camarillo, California. Welcome to our service, Facebook Live. Good morning. This is Reverend Pam.
Good Sunday, everybody. I'm Reverend Lynn Chaplin-Noe, and we are the Center for Spiritual Living, Pleasant Valley. We have a wonderful, wonderful service today, a very special service with Reverend Betty Ann Brennan, our assistant minister, and Pamela Gagan, who's our lead practitioner. Daniel Berkman is playing our music for us today. Buzz Noe, of course, is going to be our announcer with the announcements. So, our vision is awakening humanity to its spiritual magnificence. And how we do that is teaching and demonstrating spiritual principles for living an abundant and fulfilling life in a welcoming, compassionate community. We have our flames of faith. We believe there is one source and many paths leading to that source. We honor all faiths, Buddhism, Christianity, Hinduism, Judaism, Sufism, and all others that step forward in love. There is that one fine thread that connects all religions in the world, and that thread is love. We come from love, we are love, and we honor our oneness that is within us all. And so it's my pleasure now to introduce Reverend Betty Ann Brennan with our quote for the day.
It's good to dwell on these words throughout the day and let your spirit go. And the words are, I am one with all of life. I am certain that the entire universe loves and supports me in all my endeavors. And now to continue on is our practitioner, Buzz Noe, with an opening treatment.
Thank you, Reverend Betty Ann. Good morning, everyone. My name is Buzz Noe, and we'll start with an affirmation and a treatment for this morning. So please know along with me these words and put them in the first person as I say them in the first person myself. I do know that right here and right now, in this single moment of the continuing evolution of time and space, there is one connection to all that is, one creative source that has manifested everything that exists on Earth and in the universe, one energy, one power, and we call that one energy, that one power, that one intelligence God. There is one God. And I am here now, and just by that connected with all that is and connected with the oneness that is God. And I know that through that connection, everything that I say, everything that I do, everything that I think, every thought goes out and becomes part of that creative force. For I am in action as God, as me, creating the life for myself and for everyone around me. And that message of inclusion in the action that is the unfolding of life as we participate, we'll be hearing today from Reverend Betty Ann and from Pamela Bailey. And I know that with those words, they will continue to guide me to go forth in my life with the motivation of love, understanding, acceptance of all that is of everyone, knowing that as I live in this manner, it goes forth and creates that same existence for everyone else. And I thank God for the realization that I have this creative force within me, this energy within myself that I can bring forth to manifest in this world in which I live. And I thank God for the ability to be here today, to hear this lesson, to know these words, and go forth with this truth. And I do release these words, these thoughts, and these prayers to the oneness that is God, knowing that God will take care of the details while I continue to go forth with my life in a positive manner, knowing that it is there for me to enjoy and to assist others in enjoying life as we know it here on earth. Despite the circumstances that seem to interfere, we know that a positive energy going forth will create that positive awareness, that positive consciousness for all that is. And I do release these words to the oneness that is God to take care of the details, and I continue to go forth with my life. Thank you. And we close together by saying in unison, and so it is. And so it is that I now step forward to be the announcer of the day. And so here are my words for here's what's happening. This is the buzz for Sunday, August 30th. We are finishing up August. Tomorrow is the last day. Let's stay confident that we'll all be okay. Our center is here for the blessings you seek. And here are the announcements for this week. Daily meditations continue on Facebook Live at 9 a.m. with Reverend Pam inspiring us to thrive. This week we'll focus on recognition that your divine perfection is now in position. This pandemic is changing our lives every day, but let's continue to know that we'll all be okay. If you want some assistance to help you get through, email or call us so we can be here for you. Until at some point it is safe to re-enter, please continue to donate to our center. We need your donations to keep us going, so we'll be here to keep your spirit glowing. And your giving is very much appreciated indeed by these two charities helping those in need. Please donate through the link that's on the slide here to the Ventura County Rescue Mission and the Ventura County Food Share, so they can be there to help those that need care. This August has indeed been a month to remember. We'll see you next month as we enter September. And that's it for the announcements. Thanks for taking heed. Now here is a video with Daniel Nahmad, who will sing about planting seeds.
I spent a long time running, I never knew then what I know now. That the fruits, they always come in, but you can't go around just knocking them down. It takes a long time to show in. We plant the seeds then, and we look at them now. But the roots are always growing, no matter if I'm there or never around.
Whatever grows will grow, whatever dies will die, whatever works will work, whatever flies will fly, whatever fails will fail, what's meant to soar will soar. I am planting seeds, nothing
It's like your whole life you've been training for this moment, and when the time comes you just disown it, meaning you just surrender, don't control it. Not interested in the clay pots and mold it, or sitting next to the path trying to unfold it, or waiting for the fruits to fall down toward you. Let it go and now you're flowing, feeling quite gorgeous, so you take steps away instead of towards it. What a rush, feeling freedom with nothing to hold. We've been taught that what you touch will always turn to gold, and now we're learning when we let it go it overflows, with no credit to take cause no credit is home. A higher power working deeper where the seeds are sowed, and when the seeds are true then they're seeds of gold. But the real gold is joy when life starts to flow, and when it does you just smile cause now you know.
I spent a long
long time running. I never knew then what I know now. Let the fruits, they always coming, but you can't go around just knocking them down. It takes a long time to show in. We plant the seeds then and we look at them now. But the roots are always growing, no matter if I'm there or never around.
Whatever grows will grow, whatever dies will die, whatever works will work, whatever flies will fly, whatever fails will fail, what's meant to soar will soar. I am planting seeds. Whatever grows will grow.
When it grows, it grows.
Whatever dies will die.
And when it dies, it dies. Come on.
Works will
If it works, it works.
Whatever flies will
Let it fly, let it
whatever
fly.
fails will fail.
When it fails, it
What's meant
fails.
to soar will soar.
When it soars, it soars.
I am planting seeds. Whatever grows will grow.
Let it grow, let it
Whatever
grow.
dies will die.
When it dies, it dies.
Whatever works will work.
When it works, it works.
Whatever flies
Yeah.
will fly.
Let it fly, let it
Whatever
fly.
fails will fail.
Fails, it fails.
To soar will soar.
Let it soar.
I am planting seeds
And nothing more. Nothing more.
You know, when you smile, it just helps someone to know that you're cared about and that you love them.
Thank you again. And now, here with more inspiring words to say, here's Reverend Lynn Chaplain Noe, our practitioner of the day.
Thank you, Buzz. Appreciate that. Thank you, honey. So I want to start with reminding all of you to check in with our practitioners. You have the contact information that was just shown on the screen. So go on our website or Facebook page, get to know the practitioners, call them up and ask for some treatment. They are dedicated to your spiritual vitality. So I suspect today that Reverend Betty Ann Brennan and Pamela Bailey, our lead practitioner, are going to be talking about inclusion in action. That's the title of the subject of their discussion today. I suspect it's going to be about our inner practice, which leads to our outer expression, which also leads to how we express ourselves in our oneness with others and how we communicate with others. So I have called this little discussion here between me and me, look who's talking. So who's doing the talking when we communicate our inner aliveness? There's this thing called the internet and social media and all that interesting stuff, like Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. What else is there? There are all of them there. It's a phenomenon and everyone's on that and everyone's expressing themselves. How are we expressing ourselves on Facebook and TikTok and Instagram? Facebook Live, you're doing it right now. You're expressing yourself through how I'm talking, how you're interpreting how I'm talking. That's what we do on Facebook Live. It's amazing. And so these platforms are heating up right now because of all that's going on, the upheaval and the appearance, of upheaval in the world and all the politics and everything. Everyone's getting a little bit heated in their chats. So I want you to listen to this. Who and how we are communicating with our languaging and how we express in what we write and who we include in that conversation is our spiritual practice. Let me say it again. It's our spiritual practice. And this is a perfect time for us to get familiar again with our peace leaders, Gandhi and Dr. King and Dr. Ernest Holmes and Emerson. And there are so many that we could pay attention to and learn from how they conducted themselves in times of crisis. Here's what I've been doing on Facebook. And I know it's not easy. Number one, scroll by. You do not have to comment on everything. And it's so hard, but I scroll by. And number two, think of how my words are serving the higher good. And if the post is political, how is that serving the higher good? And you know, when our prayers and our treatments, we go straight to source. So include your sources in whatever you post online. And number three, are my words supported by the spiritual principles that I hold dear? And sometimes I miss the mark. Sometimes I miss the mark a lot. And when that happens, I do the default. I post puppies and baby bear cubs and baby goats and things like that. That's the puppy penance for misbehaving on Facebook. So just take those as hints. I have some quotes for you. And my first quote is by Marshall Rosenberg. Marshall Rosenberg, and I know that Pam Bailey, who's on our discussion today, our lead practitioner, is very familiar with nonviolent communication. So is Daniel Berkman, who's going to be playing later on. He says, our survival as a species depends on our ability to recognize our well-being and the well-being of others are in fact one and the same. You know, Marshall Rosenberg, Google him, get some of this good stuff. He's brilliant. And then, of course, by Mahatma Gandhi, who had some serious spiritual chops. Gandhi says, you must not lose faith in humanity. Humanity is an ocean. If a few drops of the ocean are dirty, the ocean does not become dirty. So whatever the appearance is in our lives right now on television and Zoom meetings and in social media, whatever is appearing that you think makes you want to take a shower, right? That means we're not dirty. Our thinking is not dirty. We're clear. We are on point, and we have our spiritual principles to keep us on point. We are not dirtied by the actions of others. And by Gandhi again, and please Google these. These are things you want to print out and keep close to you. Keep your thoughts positive because your thoughts become words. Keep your words positive because your words become your behavior. Keep your behavior positive because your behavior become your habits. Keep your habits positive because your habits become your values. Keep your values positive because your values become your destiny. And finally, from our wonderful Ralph Waldo Emerson, who you are speaks so loudly, I can't hear what you're saying. So always remember who's talking. I think we'll hear more about that from Reverend Betty Ann and Pamela. Now let's have a centering treatment. So please get comfortable, sit back, take a nice deep breath, close your eyes, and immediately as I close my eyes, I am in the presence. I experience the presence. I am the presence, this wonderful environment of good, of love, of life, of generosity, of destiny, of clarity. In this presence, This is the presence of what was spoken of earlier by Buzz as God. But we all identify so differently with God. God is infinite intelligence, divine mind, spirit. Whatever you call this presence that loves you and guides you impeccably, this is your creative medium. This allness, this oneness speaks through you and all life. And so knowing this and knowing that I'm the divine individualized expression of all this good, then I know it is my birthright and my responsibility and my great purpose in life to express this presence. And I do so in my deeds, in my thoughts, and in my words. And so I am very careful with how I use my words. They're creative. They demonstrate love. They demonstrate wisdom. They demonstrate insight, generosity, goodness, hope, or they demonstrate the other stuff. And so I am dedicated to being mindful in my words and my deeds as I find myself bringing all that I know into this moment, to the center of my being, to center myself for this wonderful discussion that is about to follow. I do so with the knowledge that I am interpreting everything that I see and hear this morning, even the music, through the eyes of the divine in me. Yes, that's another word for God. Divine. Divine mind, divine being, divine presence. And I am so grateful for this divine presence in my life and in everyone in my life and in all life. I'm grateful for this and oneness with it and the ability to choose how I express it or to let go and allow it to express itself through and by means of me. This is the joy of life and the joy of being the expression of good, God, divine presence. I release these loving truths right now into the law of divine mind. I allow divine mind to take care of all of the details while I enjoy this beautiful, expressive, divine discussion that is about to follow. And together we say, and so it is. And so it is my divine pleasure to introduce our musical inspiration today, someone whom I know and love very dearly, my son, Daniel Berkman. Danny, take it away.
Thank you, Mom. That was beautiful. Thank you so much. So you're talking about how we use the internet to communicate and express ourselves. I'm actually here in a community garden that I play this instrument, the kora, every Wednesday and Friday morning. And so this is one way that I've been sort of connecting with the internet verse and with everybody. And in response to the nonviolent communication and Marshall Rosenberg, it's been one way for me to communicate in a nonviolent and sort of progressive way, which is through music, which is a language unto itself. So I'm going to play the kora for you right now, the way I do on Wednesday and Friday mornings, and I hope you enjoy. Thank you.
That was wonderful, Daniel. While you were playing that, I was actually reading and writing lyrics to it. That's a beautiful song. It's
Thank
had
you.
a traditional African sound too today. Yeah, thank you, Daniel.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Now, the pleasure just keeps on. This gift keeps on giving today. It's my pleasure to introduce Reverend Betty Ann Brennan, our assistant minister, who's a great pioneer in our teaching and has been present at some very seminal and important moments in our teaching. She's really is a heavy hitter. This is she really is. And Pamela Bailey, I've known for so many years and loved her so much, and is a great example of someone who lives this teaching and expresses this teaching impeccably and always is open to newness and new ways of being and thinking. One of my brilliant, wonderful friends. So these two beautiful women are going to have a discussion on this wonderful topic today, which is inclusion in action. So I give you Reverend Betty Ann Brennan and Pamela Bailey.
Hello. Hello, Pam.
Hello.
Well, I think that the teaching that we have here is just perfect for what's going on in the world. It gives us the idea, in fact, the very premise, that there is one infinite power expressing itself and that we are all one. And how much more inclusive can you get than being absolute one with each other? We live in a sea of consciousness with everything. And through our thoughts, our mind, we choose what we want from that sea, and it moves through the creative process and appears in our world. And I don't like to say it, but it's still the truth. We've been doing our thinking and talking right. We need to include that idea. What I do is, if I have a conflict in mind about someone or some instance, I stop and go back to that idea that we are all one. And in that unity, where is my commonality with everything? And I can find it, and I can give power to the positives within an idea and strip away anything from negative that would give it energy. And that's the way we will come out, is by using mind in its purest to have us all included and moving toward that which is most desirable and most frequent. Pamela, what are you going to say about that?
First of all, I totally agree. And I had been taking this class, and one of the parts of the class was doing something called the 7-day mental diet. And the point of that was to spend 7 days catching yourself every time you had a negative thought, or worse yet, said something negative. And as soon as you notice it, you say whatever it is that has you stop, cancel, delete, whatever. And most importantly, replace it with what it is that you truly want to be creating in your life. Because we know that we create our lives and the world around us with our words and our thoughts. So those are very precious, and we need to be very careful in our use of them. And when we were talking about this yesterday, we were talking about, yeah, our humanity is always going to be present. And so there are lots of choices we can make that aren't for the highest and best. And so when we recognize that we've done that, when we've said something that's perhaps degrading to someone else based on their membership in some other group of people, that, oh, catching myself, and then not only catching myself, but cleaning it up and maybe apologizing to that person and to anyone else who may have heard it. Or if I say bad things driving in the car when somebody cuts me off, same thing. Oh, that person must be in a hurry. They couldn't have meant to cut me off. So in any case, it's just, we are part of that infinite mind, and our humanity will be with us. And so we get to be aware, we get to practice, we get to choose. Back to you, Betty Ann.
Well, I think that during this pandemic has been a great opportunity. And of course, it's a great wake-up call. And everyone within the sound of my voice or on this planet needs to take time to sit silent and to really understand, to remember who we are. We are all children of God. It doesn't matter what your color or what your affiliation or anything about you. That's first and foremost. And we all share that. Everyone can have an opportunity. I'm just amazed at the things I see on TV of people being so inventive and using this time and being so generous and being so kind, and programs on the TV that concentrate on finding those examples. And we must do that. The salvation of this world is up to me. I'm the only one that can control my thoughts and my ideas and my interaction. I'm the one that has to put inclusive on everything that happens to see what is the truth, constantly looking for the truth, not to condemn or condone, but to understand and to move forward in that oneness. Pam.
All right. So as you were speaking, I was thinking about the fact that Marshall Rosenberg was referenced earlier, and he tells a story about being in a Palestinian area actually in Israel, and trucks went by with bombs on it that had USA written on it, and there were people who were there whose homes had been bombed, probably by these very types of bombs. And there were people who were very, 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 very angry and hostile and willing to do violence. And he knew, he so was in touch with that solid base of who we are as the essence of all of us as one. He ended up listening and listening and listening and just allowing this man whose family had been bombed out of their home and there were injuries and all that. He listened and he listened and he got to the bottom line where that humanity, that divine being was residing. And it ended up that this man who was the leader of those dissidents invited him, a Jew, over to his Arabic home for, I believe it was the start of Ramadan. So no matter what, no matter how we've been brought up, no matter what teaching we've been a part of, there is within each and every one of us that divine spark, and we are grounded in that love. And so when we remember that, it can be a practice, certainly a choice, because that's what we get to do, to actually include each and every person and just know that perhaps if I had their life, I would have their point of view. Back to you, Betty Ann.
Well, two words could not be spoken. I think the emphasis is to understand, yes, we're all in this together, but we are also all individually using that consciousness. And the only reason we can communicate is because we are that consciousness expression. And so as we look at what's going on in the world, this is a result. This is the demonstration. We don't want to deal with that anymore. We have to turn away from constantly saying those things or getting involved, and turn our thoughts into what do we want tomorrow. And we must think and be passionate and continue today, right here, right now, because what we're doing in this moment is doing whatever consciousness does with an idea and forming it into a result. We don't need to know the how. If we concentrate on what we want and let go to the point of allowing that universal consciousness to come into play, everything will move away. I know when we get through this pandemic, we'll maybe a day, maybe a month, who knows how long, but we'll look back and say, well, that really wasn't so bad. Well, you know, we have this, and it won't be there anymore, and we won't even think about it. A few years down the road, it won't make any difference. But it's making a big difference now in calling into our attention what we need to do. And it's on an individual basis. And when we have those ideas individually and collectively come through, and as you say, include everybody's opinion, then will be that new bright day.
Okay. It's back to me now, right?
Yeah, back to you.
Yeah. So, yeah, I love what you said and how this conversation is unfolding. And yeah, we always are a choice. And there is a curse that is attributed to lots of teachings. That is, may you live in interesting times. Well, we certainly do. And I would assert that each and every one of us who is here listening to this broadcast and who is here living a human life at this time, at some level, our souls said, yes, I will be there at this interesting time. And not only am I here, but as Betty Ann said, we are creating constantly. And so it is up to me and each and every one of us, but personally over here, it's up to me to focus on the positive, to focus on shining my light, to focus on those instances of kindness and generosity and humanity, and to see that which we want to grow, because as we know, what we appreciate. So I would much rather think about kind things that people do and possibilities for being of assistance, for doing something that empowers or gives a hand up or even hand out to somebody in need. And when I choose consciously, and when each of us chooses consciously, we uplift the consciousness of the planet. And that's what this teaching is about. That's what we're about here. Back to you, Betty Ann.
Well, I have to go back to my continuing mantra, which is my life is unfolding perfectly no matter what. Because there's a certain time we have to just allow it to unfold. The best things to accept. We can't fight against what's the circumstance. We can always love over it. And I guess my final recommendation is love only. As long as we communicate, as long as we care, as long as love is running rampant in our society. So, Pamela, you have any last words you'd like to put in?
Well, I would like to say amen. And also, just one more thing, and that is that we will have small thoughts. We will sometimes say bad things. Forgiveness is an incredibly important aspect of all of this. Forgive ourselves, forgive others. We're all doing the best we can. And when instead of focusing on the effects that we don't like, we go back to the cause and create the world that works for everyone. So
thank you, Pamela. And at the very end, what we most need is to know who we are. Once we have arrived at that and solidify that and function from that particular idea, all is well. I want to thank you all out there. May you have wonderful days and enjoy a new revelation of our unity and oneness. And I think we have Lynn. You're going to.
I knew that was going to be epic, and it was. Thank you, guys. You're incredible. So many quotable things. And just let me reiterate our famous quote by Reverend Betty Ann that now we all live by. My life is unfolding perfectly, no matter what. So earlier I talked about appearances. So no matter what's going on out there, there's perfection, there's right activity right within you right here and now. And here's some right activity, someone who is definitely communicating with the higher source, and that's Daniel Berkman. Take it away, Danny.
Thank you again. Thanks, Mom. And thank you, Pam and Betty. That was wonderful. Beautiful. I am going to play a little improvisation, which is one thing I love to do out here in the garden. It's just one way to sort of get in touch with, well, for the lack of a better word, the divine. So here it is. And the instrument, by the way, in case you missed it last time, is called the kora. It's a 21-stringed harp lute from West Africa. Thank you so much.
Buzzy, I think, is going to give us some information. Buzzy, you want to come on and tell us about how we can contribute to our community?
Certainly can do that. Yes, we do appreciate any donations that you can make to our center. And what we'd like to do is now repeat our affirmation for our divine prosperity. So let's all say this together. Divine love blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is, and that's the way it is. And as we know from what the Bible says and from what life tells us, as you give, you shall receive. There are several ways that you can donate to our center, and that is through PayPal and through the Zelle app. You can also go to our website and find several places there. So you can do so online. And of course, if you would prefer, we still have mail service that you can accept checks that are sent to the center at our mailing address. And so I think that's it for what we're talking about donations, because it's your donations that keep our center going. So we appreciate anything you can give us. And now I send it back.
Thank you, Buzzy. Thank you so much. And so I just want to remind all of you that Reverend Pamela Gagan will return with us next week, and probably with some wonderful, exciting experiences from her little time off. And I'd like to thank everyone present, Reverend Betty Ann Brennan, Pamela Bailey, our lead practitioner, Daniel Berkman, our inspirational music today, which was just amazing, Buzz Noe, who I like a lot. And I'd like to thank Spencer Gagan, who just produces this wonderful experience so beautifully and effortlessly, although I know it comes with a great experience that he has. And behind the scenes, I don't know, I know you hear Reverend Pam say this every week, but Marcia Beebe is not only behind the scenes, but she's definitely the heart of everything that unfolds at our spiritual center. And we hope that you'll all, when we're all back together again in body at the center, you'll all meet all of us in person, and it'll be a wonderful day. So thank you all. To God is the glory. Thank you for being here. We'll see you next week. Ciao, baby.
Bye-bye. Thank you.